Hello, and welcome to Stu Does Linux. I'm Stu Karoff, teacher, tech integrationist, and Linux enthusiast. I've also been known to do a karaoke song at school events. Remember, teachers, keep some MP3s of your favorite karaoke tracks on your hard drive. You never know when they'll come in handy. Time to click like, subscribe, and that notification bell thing. Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It has been a while since my last video, but I am back. And now, unsolicited testimonial time. I am recording this video on the laptop I just got from my friends at Repowered. Repowered, formerly known as Tech Dump, is one of my favorite go-to places for refurbished computers. Repowered is a full-service R2 electronics recycler that, through their retail store, provides quality, affordable electronics for the community. And if that was not enough, this outstanding nonprofit also provides jobs and job training for people who traditionally have a hard time finding employment. To learn more, go to getrepowered.org. That's getrepowered.org. If you caught my last video, you saw me talk about all of the reasons that Linux belongs in the classroom, and that does include your classroom. Well, that's all well and good, but suppose you actually have a Linux computer in your room, or maybe a few. What would you do with them? Today's episode, ideas for using Linux for student learning. Here is a Linux desktop. I say a desktop and not the desktop, because when looking at a Linux operating system, there is a lot of variety. What makes it Linux is the kernel, which is the central core of the operating system. Any OS that claims to be Linux has this. From there, we see the variety kick in. It's a big misconception that Linux is just for geeks who want to crunch code row after row. While it is true that Linux started as a terminal command line system, it wasn't long before people took that open source system and added really great graphical user interfaces, turning Linux into something that anyone can use. This distribution, or distro, is called Ubuntu, and by most measurements, it's the most popular Linux distro in the world. Navigating this desktop is easy and intuitive. So if you can find your way around Windows or Mac, you can find your way around Ubuntu. Why is that important? If you're going to put Linux in front of kids, you want the kids to be able to use it and be comfortable with it. Well, I have put Ubuntu, Linux Mint, Zorin OS, Elementary OS, Xubuntu, Ubuntu Unity, and many others in front of kids, and their reaction to almost all of them is the same. They like it and love using it. Now, once you get kids onto a Linux computer, what can they actually do with it? I mean, other than play games? Well, there are lots of learning opportunities available for your kids. For younger students, try GCompre. GCompre is a large set of educational games perfect for pre-K through third grade. It has activities that focus on keyboard and mouse use, memory and matching games, strategy games. It even has checkers and chess. I've tried out GCompre with all of my elementary classes, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. Want to give kids a chance to show their creative side? Time for Tux Paint. Tux Paint is an art program where kids can draw, paint, stamp, and have lots of fun being creative. On the one hand, the program has a low learning curve so kids can jump in and create right away, while containing enough tools and features to keep kids experimenting and creating. Pretty fabulous. Tux Typing uses a series of games to teach kids typing and keyboarding skills. Colorful, fast-paced, and fun, along with different games and different levels. Who doesn't want to blast asteroids and save planets while solving addition problems? Tux Math has eye-catching graphics, cool sound effects, and a wide variety of games to practice different math skills. Now, I'd like to dive into a couple of productivity apps that, while not specifically created for use in schools, have been very successful in some lessons and units that I've done with students. Audacity is a multi-track audio recording and editing tool that can crank out professional-grade sound, but it is simple enough for students to be able to get started doing some great projects. I've had students recording podcasts for tech and social studies class, creating ringtones on their phones, and writing and recording radio ads. I had hoped that my students would have fun with this one. It exceeded my expectations, and the kids loved it. Teaching kids using an office suite? Why not? LibreOffice is a full-featured suite of office software, including a word processor, a spreadsheet, and a slideshow. But I used one of its other apps for a great class project, LibreOffice Draw. Draw is a visual art program that has more than enough features for students to create some really great work. My third graders used it to create more basic digital collages, while my seventh graders made posters for a building-wide campaign for the school. And the kids had a lot of fun, too. In the age of the internet, much of what you would want kids to do for learning is online. BrainPop, iExcel, Code.org, Google Classroom, and many others exist in the browser. And almost every major browser makes a version for Linux. It's true. Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Opera, Brave, all of these come on Linux. Even Microsoft Edge makes a Linux version. And if you're using Google Chrome, you'll be happy to know that your favorite extensions will work on Linux too. On my Linux computer, I use Google Chrome with popular extensions like Screencastify, Grade Transfer, Adobe Acrobat, and Read and Write for Google, and they all work just like they would on Windows, Chrome OS, or Mac. So if you want kids to work on Teacher Monster or Amplify, Linux will work just fine. Okay, nobody likes this one. But if you work in school, at some point you will have to deal with standardized tests, either required ones or ones your school chooses to do. Linux can be used for these too. I've used Linux for access for ELLs, the state tests that use Pearson's TestNav app, NWEA, and FastBridge. And they all work. Linux can be used in your classroom for so many different types of teaching and learning to benefit your kids that I can't put them all into one video. Right now, I'm planning lessons to try a few I haven't gotten to yet. How about you? Are there lessons or activities you want to try with Linux, or ones you've already tried and liked? Tell me about it in the comments. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and remember, if Stu does Linux, so can you. Have a great day.